All right, my top 5 least worn fragrances in my collection. I have a moderate collection of about almost 20 fragrances. So not the biggest collection on YouTube, but more than the average person. And these are the 5 that I wear the least or are my least favorite to smell. Honestly, these aren't even that bad. Just out of all my fragrances, I definitely grab these the least, and there's probably something that bothers me about each and every one of them. So I'm gonna kind of rank them from 5 to 1. 5 is one that I'd be more likely to wear. 1 is one that I'd be a lot less likely to wear. So, starting it off with number 5. This is a fragrance brand that you probably haven't even heard of. It is noteworthy, and it is called 551. Now, the interesting thing about noteworthy is that this is the first fragrance that I actually bought with my own money. I remember this distinctly. Probably bought this about 3 years ago now. I remember buying this right around when I graduated high school. And first fragrance that I bought, and it was a pretty decent price too. It was $100. Now, the point of Noteworthy is that they were a brand that literally, they're kind of like, just like a independent brand that I saw on Instagram. And what they do is that you take a quiz, they ask you questions like what kind of smells you like, what kind of person you are, kind of stuff about your personality. And then they kind of formulate a fragrance based off of that. So they sent me like a couple sample fragrances of different smells that they thought I would like. Then I stumbled across this one, 551. Again, all of them are just different numbers basically. And this is sandalwood in a bottle. And I love the smell of sandalwood. I remember the main notes are sandalwood, lily of the valley, and amber. So all great smells. So this is a great smelling cologne. The only reason why this is on this list and why I don't gravitate towards it is because, first of all, this was my first fragrance. So when I first started wearing it, absolutely loved it. Wore it all the time. As you can see, I did wear it a lot. But then I realized how much more quality actual fragrances are. Like actual designer fragrances, clone fragrances, niche fragrances. After, again, buying all those and getting more into the fragrance community and more into fragrances in general, I realized this just lacks depth. It smells just like those notes that I mentioned. Sandalwood, amber, lily of the valley. Beautiful scents, absolutely beautiful. It's just a very bare bones scent. It doesn't really have that much complexity to it. It doesn't have that. And also the biggest thing is the price. I did pay about $100 for this full bottle. So you could probably pay like $20 for, that first sample thing that you get. But, after that, to get a full size bottle, which I think this is probably like 3.3 ounces. It was about $100 at least. It might have been a little bit more. Don't really remember. But about $100 for this. And again, the scent is really nice. And you definitely do get the biggest perk is that you get a unique fragrance to you more than anything else. But again, just after smelling designer and niche and clone fragrances, it's just the quality is way better. So that's why this goes on 5, but I still have a lot of reverence to this cologne. This kind of did start, I guess my fragrance journey in a way. So that's why I would put that there. All right, next up we have Tobacco Touch by Maison Alhambra. This is a clone of Tobacco Vanille by Tom Ford. Very popular niche fragrance. This is also a very popular clone fragrance. And the smell is really nice. The smell itself, very rich. Smells like Christmas, nutmeg, cinnamon, spices all over the place. Definitely perfect winter fragrance, perfect fall fragrance for sure. Definitely can't wear this really in the summer or spring at all. But it is, a nice smell. Nice presentation, looks almost exactly like the Tom Ford bottle, which is a lot of the reason why I got it. The reason why I don't gravitate towards it is just, it's not my favorite smell in fragrances. I love the smell of cinnamon, nutmeg, all those things that I just listed off. But in fragrances, it's a different story. I don't know what it is, but I just don't prefer to smell like that. I like to smell like stuff that's more mysterious, something that you can't exactly put your nose on. Like, again, this just smells too powdery, also very powdery. I don't know, I just don't really like that. It makes me feel older than I am. It's not very youthful in that sense. I've never smelled Tobacco Vanille by Tom Ford, so I don't know how similar this is, and I don't know, if it's a different story, but if this is what Tobacco Vanille smells like, I definitely could never see myself spending the $300 on it. Now this fragrance is only about, I probably spent like $30 or a little bit less than $30 on this, so definitely very cheap. So if you like spicy fragrances, if you like Christmassy type of fragrances, this is a perfect one to get. Next one is kind of in the same veil. It is Cassius by Maison Alhambra as well. This is a clone of Parfums de Marly Carlisle. Presentation is pretty decent. Again, it kind of has a very similar look. It has that like matte black finish. It has kind of similar vibes, but it is also very similar to Tobacco Touch, the one that we just went over, and for reasons that are very similar. It is very powdery. It is very Christmassy, very spicy. Again, I really like smelling it, like just straight up. It's a very nice smell. It's a very pleasant smell. I've gotten compliments wearing this one. I don't remember if I've gotten compliments with this one, but I do remember compliments with this one. My girlfriend did compliment me. She did like it, which was surprising. Again, I was like, if I don't like it, my girlfriend might not like it, but she does like it on me. It was perfect to wear. We went to a Christmas party, and that's when I wore this. So, again, it's just because it is so spicy, even though it's perfect for wintertime, and we're in wintertime right now, and we were just in fall. I had these over the fall and winter. I still didn't wear these that much because also being in Texas, the weather doesn't get that cold that often, and still it just feels overbearing and it feels out of place to wear a fragrance like this. I don't know. Again, just don't gravitate towards it. It's a good smell. It's great quality. If you, again, I'll reiterate, if you like spicy smells, cinnamon type of smells, this one has like apple kind of note. I think I do actually prefer this one over Tobacco Touch. It's a little bit lighter. It's a little bit better. But again, I just don't gravitate towards these types of fragrances that much. It just isn't, it doesn't really suit my style. But if you like that stuff, this is the perfect grab for you. And again, it's also cheap, sub $30 or around $30. You can find it easily. So yeah. All right, next up we have Dr. Squatch. This one is called Sandalwood Bourbon. Now this is when Dr. Squatch first came out with their first colognes. This is more like a fragrance oil than, you know, your classic, you know, fragrance, because as you can see, it has that oil type of mechanism. And yeah, it smells good. It's a pretty good smell, but it's just too musky. Okay, it's a very musky scent. It's very leathery. It really does smell like you're in someone's attic and they have bourbon stored in these wooden barrels. That's what it smells like, and it makes sense. That's what it's marketed to smell like, but it's just, it doesn't have enough freshness or enough sweetness to counterbalance it. So that's why I can't see myself wearing this as a cologne. Every time I wore this as a cologne, I just felt like dirty, you know, because it just didn't have a sweetness or freshness quality to it. So that was my biggest complaint with this one. And again, this is when Dr. Squatch first released their colognes. If you don't know who Dr. Squatch are, you've probably seen their ads, but if you haven't, they're mainly a natural soap company, mostly geared towards men. And I love their soaps. I use their soaps. I use their deodorant. I love a lot of their products. And of course, whenever they came out with colognes or slash fragrances for the first time, I was like, oh, I got to try one out. Again, it's a good scent, just not enough of a mass appealing kind of thing. And that's what really doesn't make it wearable at all. So again, it's a decent smell. They have re-released a lot of their colognes and they repackaged it and it actually looks like a proper bottle with an atomizer. So I really do wonder if those are a lot better. I am considering getting another Dr. Squatch cologne, one of the newer ones, to see if it's a lot better. I think it would probably be more wearable. So definitely going to do that if I can. But Dr. Squatch can go at number 2. Just isn't wearable. Just, as I said, not enough of that quality. And number 1 will be Summer Breeze. I forgot the name of this company, but I got this as a gift, and yeah, I'm just never gonna wear it because it just smells more like a woman's perfume, and it just has absolutely no depth. This would definitely give me a headache. It's not a terrible smell though. Anyway, it kind of just smells like apple and just classic women's perfume, but not really that bad of a scent. Like, again, after you've smelled quality fragrances, this is going to be crap to you, and so I just never wear this. But that's my list. Again, not super crappy fragrances, but just my least worn ones. Just felt like making a video about it. So yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one.